of May 2024. Hello and welcome to the Pulse here on the Joy News channel. Coming up, now, technical challenges characterize day one of the Electoral Commission's limited voters registration exercise across the country as there is no activity in the entire northern region. Details as scores of first-time voters say they are getting frustrated with the delays.
I think the challenge so far is that the network is not working. They are saying the network is not responding, and so we had to wait for a while.
Today is the day we are starting with the registration, and we have mobilized those kids from DRC, estate, everywhere, and we are here till date. Nobody is telling us anything.
In today's film exhibition series, we paint a picture of what Accra looks like after a heavy downpour.
This morning, whilst I was going to work, I have to use the other side of the road because this place was flooded. I mean, even the cars, they were not able to use this lane that you see them using now. They were all using the overhead.
Accra's resilience to floods have deteriorated as weather forecasters warn residents to take precaution against incoming storms. And later, National Association of Institutional Suppliers gives the government a 2-week ultimatum to pay their locked-up funds as they prepare to occupy the ministry until their monies are paid. Now, the Pulse is brought to you always by Global Communities Dignalu, affordable, safe sanitation for all. And this show is live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and on myjoyonline.com for these and more. My name is Emmanuel Owusu. It's always an honor to welcome you. Thanks for choosing us. This afternoon, limited registration exercise has begun in the northern region after hours of a stalemate. After it was put on hold for 6 hours due to some technical challenges, several centers Joy News visited earlier in the day showed huge crowds with no activity. At the various centers, the Northern Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, Lucas Yil, confirmed to Joy News it was a challenge affecting all the centers in the northern region, which was resolved after close to 5 hours of waiting. Bismarck Nte is Tamale Metro Electoral Commission Director.
The challenges were that we're able to log in. You take a picture of the applicant. As soon as you get to that place, the system will not allow you to proceed to take the particulars of the applicant. So we're only limited to the picture. And we informed Accra and we're told that it was a technical problem that the engineers were working on that. So before 12 o'clock, some few minutes to 12, we realized that the system started working. So roughly by 12, we started working and registering them. So as at now, things are going on well.
Since then, you haven't encountered any challenge?
No.
So how many people have you been able to pick so far?
I think so far we should be able to reach about 50, maybe 50. Not much.
Wait, I mean, you literally spend like 6 hours,
6 hours
without working. What happens to that time that is gone?
Well, that one would be a management decision because it wasn't only limited to Tamale, right? It was a nationwide problem, so I don't know what management will decide. Fighting among themselves, but I didn't go to. I tried to talk to them to calm down. That they're just arguing among themselves.
What are some of the issues they're arguing about?
Well, the argument is about those accompanying the applicants to the offices. It's like they all want to be on the table where the registration is taking place. And some of them are saying that they should move away and allow the guarantors alone to move with the applicant. And that is the argument that they are Thank you.
Martina Bugri reports from the Northern Region, and she joins us on Zoom with update on the situation at in the Northern Region now. Martina, grateful that you're joining us. You've been visiting various centers. What have you been observing? Hello, Martina. I want to find out from you, since morning you've been touring various centers to monitor how the process is going. What have you been observing? Okay, so we'll bring Martina on. The story is that in the Northern Region, for example, the process started just some few minutes ago. After the process was kept on hold for several hours due to some technical challenges, would want to understand, since the process started, what has been the case now. Northern Regional correspondent Martina Bugri is joining us via Zoom to give us update on what has been happening. Martina, thanks for joining us. You have been going around various centers since morning. What have you been experiencing? What's the experience like, most especially when the exercise started some few minutes ago?
Okay, so the exercise, people gathered very early. So between 7 o'clock, people were already at the various centers. And one challenge they had was when they begin and then they start taking the pictures, how to process it becomes a problem. Center after center, they all face the same challenge. And so when we spoke to the Tamale Metro EC director, he said they reported to the regional and it was forwarded to the national. So they noticed that it was not just a Northern Region case, it was a widespread issue across the country. And that was resolved some few minutes to 12, we are told, and then they started. We got there around 1:30 and we're told about 15 people had already gone through the process. We have some numbers there. It was generally very quiet, except some few disagreements over people crowding at the verification. Sorry, I should say that people crowded at the center where you would need a guarantor, except that generally it was very peaceful, the few centers that I have visited in the Tamale metropolis.
Okay, so if I understand, you mean that the centers have been separated into where you would need a guarantor to guarantee for you before you register, and where you have all the details so you can register straightforward.
So if you have your Ghana card, you just go to the process. If you have your Ghana card, you go through the process. But if you don't have it, you need some people to guarantee you before you can go through the process. And so we had said that at that table, you have more than, the parties kept going on back and forth. But we are told that it was resolved. The issue was not a big issue. They had resolved it. And so the process was smoothly ongoing. The various political parties, especially the major two, the NDC and the MPP, have all admitted that the process is smooth and there is no challenges, except for the beginning that they had to wait all through day, about 5, almost 6 hours, waiting without the process, the registration taking place. They are very satisfied with what is happening so far.
Now, based on the delay, what have the parties been saying in relation to the delay that we had earlier in the morning?
They are hoping that a decision will be taken so that they will be able to make up for the time lost. The two major political parties have that sometimes the number of hours wasted, they believe a lot of people could have registered. And so they are hoping that some extra time or some other measures we put in place to help take care of the time loss.
Okay. So grateful to you, Martina, for that. Keep monitoring so that we can have a feel of what's happening in the northern region. So that's Martina Bugri there, joining us from the northern region. Let's now touch base with some of our correspondents across the country. But let's start from the Greater Accra region, where my colleague Sweetie Abochi reports about a disagreement in the Ayawaso Central constituency, as at 11 a.m. registration had not started in some parts of the capital.
Still here at the Ayawaso Central constituency, it appears the issue of this technical hitch is running through many of these centers. Now, these first time, just turned 18, if we can call them that, are complaining that they've been here since 6, 7 a.m. and the process is supposed to last about 5-10 minutes for each person, because you fill out a form with your relevant details, you go and capture your biometric details, and then you get your ID card laminated for you. But they've been here for almost 4 hours and nothing seems to be happening. Let's hear from the horse's own mouth. Esther, how are you this morning? What's it done?
Oh, yeah, by 6 o'clock, I go 7. I'm on start here. See, I go 11. You per se your coffee. But my catcher and say machine problem about here and train kakra. Yeah, to me, you per se your coffee.
Well, she's saying that she's been here since morning. They've been told that there's a problem with the machine, but they cannot wait and they want to go home. But hold for me, Esther. Esther's brother is also here with us, and he has some sentiments to share about this ongoing delay about the electoral process, the registration process. Thanks for joining us. Your sister was saying that she wants to go home because she's been here from 6 or 7 a.m. and now it's almost 11 a.m. How do you feel about all this?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'd like to say a very big good morning to your viewers. To be honest, like the way my sister was saying, we have been here since morning 6 a.m. because I have to rush quickly to the office. But when we got here around 6, we knew the official time was 7 o'clock a.m. But because we want to be the first in the queue, we came early so that we'll pass through the necessary exercise. But as it stands now, it's now 10:51 and we are still here. So the only thing that I need to tell my sister is just to calm my sister down. But I would like to plead with the Electoral Commission. You know, we are not in normal times. We are in an election period which the Electoral Commission needs to be up on again. We sometimes need to put our political parties aside and look at the interests of the country. We can't be here from 6 and now it's getting close to 11. So I understand how my sister feels and would like to call on the Electoral Commission to be up on the game. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Esther, will you be waiting for a little while longer just to give the EC time to resolve this issue, or are you done for the day?
Oh, me coffee, my bread, mint now.
Well, there you have it. Esther says she's tired and she's going home. That is one voter lost to the registration process. But whatever this issue is, from the Anyasotom constituency where we were earlier, they said that there's a portal that needs to be connected from the head office that has not been connected yet, and that's what they're waiting on, which is resulting in this technical issue. We hope that the EC is able to resolve it in time, and although this entire process is supposed to last for about 21 days, it appears the patience of those here ready to participate in this national important exercise are running out of patience. But this is what we have now from the Ayawaso Central constituency. For Joy News, I'm Sweetie Abochi.
Now, earlier, there was confusion at the Ayawaso Central constituency as a national security personnel was seen in a fight with some party officials from the NDC. We can hear from the monitoring agent for the NDC on what started the fight.
Very much. My name is Tahiru Ahmed, popularly known as Baba Warababa from Ayawaso North constituency. And I'm in charge of the monitoring, the 4 Ayawasos. So what happened is that, you know, as a media personnel, you are here to cover the registration. And what happened is that I learned the guy who is having problem with the other guy is a security personnel who is from Alaju, which I know him is a police officer, taking people in to register, in and out. He's trying to cross the queue.
So the police officer is the one taking people in and out?
In and out. So he's the one who wear the orange color or the red t-shirt. So you can see him holding a bow tie and other things. Because I saw him, I was asking, why is he doing this way? So, and I saw that maybe what is happening is the XYZ, they are trying to record what is happening. So, and I heard him saying that maybe he should stop recording. So the other guy was telling him that no, he is doing his job. As a media personnel, they are here to take cover what went wrong, what went right. So he has a right to cover it. They say no, they will not allow him to do the recording. So the other guy too said no. And for that one, you don't have that power to stop the media house. So that's what transpired for this hula baloo. So we have to intervene to make sure that maybe things are calm down, because I have to tell him as a security personnel, you don't have that right to be taking people inside for registration.
But he's not wearing uniform.
Yes, not wearing it because it's like maybe, the strategy that they are doing, we know each other. And I confronted him and asked him, he said, yes, he's a police officer. So I told him that maybe as a police officer, you don't have that right to do whatever you are doing. That is why we always say that maybe we don't trust the security personnel. Because this election, we need peace. But if they want to do whatever it is, because it's not going to augur well with all of us. Because if they are ready, which we are ready, because we need peace in Ghana. So let's peace prevail. Other than that, what they are intending to do, we can do more than them.
Is it partisan?
No, the thing now, it's a partisan. Because if you look at the terrain here, NDC are here, we the NDC are here, the MPP too are here, other party agents too are here.
So that's the agent for the NDC telling us how that fight began. Let's now listen to the national security personnel telling his side of the story.
At Ayawaso Central, the guys that were supposed to arrange for them to come and get their polling station numbers and the rest. So the guy there was one media guy, TV3, he came, he was captured. He said, so one guy was talking to him that, since you captured it, not that way they were doing some kululu or something like that. That's not the case. But the other guy that came by said, let him do his work. He said, from day one, nobody stopped him from working because media, we are with you. So you have the right to do whatever that you're supposed to do. So the guy captured. So along the way, he started, there was one girl, he went and pulled her hair. I said, what kind of sort is this? What is it? Already you were here that we talk about it. So I don't see the reason why, as a lady, you being a man, you should go and just pull her hair. So that let me intervene.
So are you a security officer?
No, I'm from the National Security.
National Security, but you're not in uniform today. What are you doing here this morning?
No, we are trying to monitor the situation on the ground.
Okay, so the other guy mentioned that you were taking people into the room there to register, which is not part of your duties here.
So, I was even standing here. They haven't taken anybody. They haven't climbed even outside. The other TV station, your sister station was here. He was capturing it. So there was one guy over there telling the guy that he shouldn't come and catch. I said, no. Leave him, he's a media person, let him do whatever. I don't know, since you people are not doing any hululu or whatever, let him do it. So the guy came and pushed the guy. Once the guy he saw everything. Meanwhile, once the thing was here, you were not seeing anything. You were not even there. But they just give you an indict that you're supposed to come and say, no, you got it wrong. At least come and explain or talk to the media person and see the side of the story.
Well, in Kumasi, the voter registration situation is not different, as the exercise has been hit by some technical challenges in some districts of the Ashanti region, stalling the process. Since the exercise started, some applicants have not been able to go through the registration process due to the technical hitches encountered by the Electoral Commission. Although the EC says it is working towards resolving the challenges, some party agent and applicant are unhappy with the delay. Nana Boachi Yadom joins us now with some more. Nana, first, bring us a wrap of how the process has been in the Ashanti region. What time did it start, and how is the process traveling?
First-time voters coming in their numbers to participate in the registration exercise. Earlier on, the EC got hit by some technical challenges affecting the registration process or halting it for about 4 hours, but now we are being told that the technical challenge has been resolved, and so right behind me you can see first-time voters going to their various districts or constituencies to get their voter ID cards. And so we've been told that the cards has started, the EC has started issuing these cards to these first-time voters. We have to get interactive with these first-time voters who are participating in the voter registration exercise. Today I have this gentleman here with me. What time did you come here?
I came here around 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. And have you received anything? Have they spoken to you?
No, we haven't been spoken to us, yes. But we hope that now they have solved the internet connection. So we think that everything is going to go well for us to get our voters ID.
You came here around 8 and it's past, getting closer to 2 or past 2 now. How do you feel? Are you stranded?
Well, you can see that it's not our fault because of the internet connection. That's why I bring all these problems. So we think that so far as they are started, everything can go well so that we can get our voters ID. So for me, I don't have any problem. So far as the data is ongoing on, we think that everything will go well for us to just start the registration here.
Let me ask you one last thing. Why do you want to participate in this exercise? What drove you to come here to get your voter's ID card?
For me to select the right person to lead this country, that's what makes me to be participating in this exercise for getting my voter's ID, because it is through election that you can elect the right person. So I think that this is my major idea for me to take part in this.
So you want to participate in electing a leader for the country, right?
Of course, of course.
Yeah. You're a student?
Yeah.
And which constituency?
Menchia.
Menchia South or North?
I think South.
Okay, thank you so much. And so that is a first-time voter. He's willing to participate in the December 7th post. That is why he's in here to register and get his voter's ID card to make sure that come December 7th, he will be part of the those who would make a choice for us in electing a leader. I have this lady here with me. What time did you come here?
I came here somewhere around 10.
At 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
And then have you received anything? Have they come to you?
No.
They've not taken your particulars?
No, nothing. They just gave me a number. They gave me a number to maybe, I think the number they gave me, they'll be coming for it later. And a man just came here to arrange us according to the numbers they gave us. So we are looking out on them, what they are going to do.
Okay, but then, just as I asked your colleague or your friend here, why did you decide to participate in this voter registration exercise?
This is my first time, and I think I'm ready to vote this year. Yeah, that's why I came to do the voter's ID, so that I can be able to vote for this year's election.
Thank you so much. And so, words of some applicants who are currently here at the EC head office in the Ashanti region. A number of them are here, as I said earlier.
So that was my colleague, Nana Boachi Yadom, chronicling for us what has been happening in the Ashanti region, speaking to some first-time voters and how eager they are to take part in this process. But it's now time for us to take you around the country for update on how the process is panning out. Let's start from the Upper West region, where first-time voters are expressing frustration with the process.
We are currently at the Wa Municipal Office of the Electoral Commission, where we have met first-time voters who want to take part in this year's exercise. So, Master, let me have your name. And then? Baba Lovin. Okay. You are here. Why are you here?
We are here to take registration of our cars.
Why do you want to register?
I want to register because I want to vote.
Why do you want to vote?
For the right persons, for the right people.
So when you talk about the right person, what do you mean?
I mean the person that can govern us, pass us through right decisions such that we can be comfortable in the country. Like, example like Cheddar, even though he has not yet come on power, but I know that I'm cutting this card just for him because I know that he can guide me through the industrial world.
How excited are you to be part of this process?
I'm excited because I've heard a lot of advantages of the card. Just today they told us that you can use it for the bank account and all that. I have not registered my Ghana card, but I know that with this, they are saying guarantees this form we can register. So all the advantages of Ghana card I can get.
Let me have your name again. Okay, Lovin. Okay, we are here. Why are we here?
We are here to do this so that we
Is that the first time that you want to be part of the system? Yes. So how excited are you?
I'm actually excited. I'm actually going to be part of the decision making in this country.
But how long have you been here?
The past
45 minutes. And then the process so far, is it quick? Is it slow?
Slow.
So, is the process slow? Look at my camera.
It's very slow to me because I actually thought that once we are a secondary school and a region like this, we are not many schools. So maybe they could have appointed just some few people to do it. So it's very slow for us with our time range. We have a lot of things to still do in school. Like we are in Form 3, we are still preparing for our CA exam. So it's very slow for us and it's boring.
So what do you want to be done?
We just, like I said, like maybe not for us, but for the next people. They'll appoint people to go specifically to secondary schools and they will do it.
What about you? What do you want to be done?
You should just get more people to get around all the secondary schools so that registration will go quicker.
Okay, you've heard two gentlemen, students from St. Francis Xavier Minor Seminary. They are here to be part of the election process. First, by doing registration. They are telling us that the registration process so far is very slow and they would like it to be quickened. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Well, so my colleague Rafiq Salam himself is joining us live now from WA and to tell us what is happening there now. Rafiq, how is the registration process going in your region now that the exercise has started?
For now, the EC are able to resolve that jigsaw puzzle and that software that they have been grappling with. As at 2 p.m., they've been able to register 36 people at the one municipal office of the Electoral Commission. Remember, we have 3 centers here in the one municipality. The first one being the one municipal office, the second being the Dr. Hilary Mountain University, and also the SDD UBIT. And so, you know, for 4 hours, starting from 7 a.m. at about 12 midday, they were able to register only one person. But now I can report to you that they have been able to fix that challenge. 36 registered as of 2 p.m. at the main office, and also both UDS and SDD UBIT, and then also Dr. Hilary Technical University. All of them so far have registered 15 people each.
In terms of, you know, the party's reaction to how the processes are going on in these centers, how has it been?
There have been some kind of a cordial relationship between the political parties here. You know, like I always say that in what here, if you are from this region or if you are from Wa, and then we are related in terms of blood ties and whatever. So the people here, they know themselves. There's no cause for alarm here, and then the people are written very well. For now, there have not been any arrest, no argument, nothing right here at the EC offices or their registration centers.
What about queues? We've seen long queues in some parts of the country. How is it like in your end?
For WA, we haven't gotten those long queues. You know, as at 2, and now when I left the place, there were about 6 dozen people around the one municipal office. And so for them, for now, we don't have that long queues here. Maybe the subsequent days that we can have long queues, but for now, we have not experienced that long queues right here at the one municipal office or any of the registration centers in the one municipality.
You see the parties bussing in people?
I haven't seen political parties bussing people, but what I can tell you is that I've seen some institutions, some schools, their students being bussed to the place. I tried to inquire from them who brought them. They told me that they came on their own volition. A school like Wa Na Memorial Institute, they came in a bus. Close about 2 dozen students came to do the registration. And they told me that they came there on their own volition.
Okay, all right. Rafiq, I'm grateful to you for joining us. So that's my colleague Rafiq Salam, who is joining us from WA with those updates. Now, the registration process has so far been smooth in the Central Region. Joining us with details is our Central Regional correspondent, Eric Asante. Eric, what can you report?
From where Rafi ended about the busing situation. Here in the Central Region, in areas like the KEE district, it's quite dispersed. So for new registrants, it was quite difficult to move to the EC's office. So you would see some of the political parties, i.e. the major political parties, the NDC and the NPP, busing new registrants from dispersed areas to the EC office to go through their registration. Aside from that, all the 22 venues for the exercise started late, as reported, because of the network challenges. I'm currently at the KEA district where the 36th person is going through the process to be registered. It takes less than 10 minutes for one to go through the process if that person has the required document. But if that person came in using the guarantor system, then it exceeds sometimes 15 minutes. Apart from a few who walked in themselves to the Cape Coast Municipal Assembly and also to the KEA district to register, I can confirm that most of the people in the areas like the KEA and some of the communities that we visited, they have to come in through vans organized by the two major political parties. That's what we can report from the Central Region.
And I'm sure you've been speaking to first-time people who are first-time registrants. What have they been telling you about the eagerness? We've heard from some people who are very eager to be part of this process. What are they saying? What are the various reasons they've given as to why they are there?
So their responses have been different, especially depending on where they find themselves. In the Cape Coast Municipal Assembly, which is an urban center, most of them told me they were registering because they needed to take part in the political process of the country. In areas that were a bit rural, most of the people told me when they had misplaced their Ghana card and they needed a form of ID as Ghanaian reason, they were motivated to come and register. So for the reasons why the new registrants are eager to register is quite different regarding where they find themselves. In the urban setting, there are different reasons, and in rural settings, there are different reasons. But all in all, there's some sign of eagerness as to the first-time registrants that we encountered when we paid visit to some of the registration centers.
Eric is our eyes and ears in the Central Region. Let's shift our attention now to the Volta Region, where the process is smoothly ongoing despite an initial technical hitch. Nana Odro is the electoral officer on duty.
We started exactly 7 o'clock. We only have few challenges with our network system. Now it has come and we are tending to those that we registered. And as you see, the system is moving on very smoothly.
So far, approximately how many people have gone through the process?
As for the registration, we've done a lot. You could see that they are in a queue, but those who are taking their pictures, we've just started. So we've had about 20 to 30. And we hope that within the next 2 hours, we'll be able to finish everybody who is here.
Any advice for people who are going through the process?
We want to advise those who want to register to come with the necessary document, the Ghana card and the passport. If they don't have it, they should come with 2 guarantors from the house. Then they come and we register them. But as usual, they have to be 18 years. If you know you are not 18 years, you don't have to come. And then you must be a Ghanaian and of sound mind, as the law actually stipulates. So we are ready for all those who will come for the registration.
Our regional correspondent Ivy Setoji joins us via Zoom with some update. Ivy, so you've also been going around the centers. We've heard about the challenges that characterize this process in general. What has been the story at your end? What have people been telling you?
Actually, some of the new registrants said the challenge was of the network, that they've been there for some time and they were not able to register. Some of them had to go home and come back. Most of them are students, both in senior high, tertiary and all that. And so some of them said they wasted their time being there from the beginning because of some of the challenges. Some of them also said there were some other issues that the EC was not able to tell them earlier. They were not able to tell us exactly what issue it was. But aside that, the turnout today was low. We don't know the reason, but turnout today was low. So aside that, everything.
It's fine. Okay. Now, we've heard from other parts of the country where the political parties are busing people to the centers. Is that the case, or is it different in the Volta region? Ivy, I'm trying to find out from you that in other parts of the country, the political parties, the two main political parties, NDC and MPP, are busing people to the centers. Is it different or is it same in the Volta region?
For now, whereas the places that I went to, I have not seen any of such. For now, maybe from tomorrow. The only thing I realized was the fact that turnout is low for today, but the EC officials are hoping that from tomorrow things will move on quickly. They attributed all this to challenges with the machines. And some of the political parties we spoke to earlier who wouldn't want to speak on camera said they are not happy about what the EC, the officials are doing in regards to the machines or the network challenges. Thereby wasting time at the polling centers, especially those who are students, especially the tertiary institution who are there to register for the first time. So they are asking that EC does something about their network so that the process can be smooth.
All right. Grateful to you, Martina, for joining us here. But let's still stay on this and return to the Central Region, because the National Democratic Congress says it has some concerns over the operational challenges of the limited registration exercise. Joining us via Zoom now is the Central Regional Chairman of the NDC, Dr. Richard Asiedu. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining. What are these concerns that you want to raise, aside the technical hitch that we are aware of? Doc, kindly on me so we can hear what you're telling us.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, your church viewers. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah, Central Region also started with this technical hitches, as well as the EC not living up to its responsibility, especially at Ekumfi, where our agents were there around 7, of which the East officers were not around. And when they came, get the passcode from the headquarters was also a problem. And again, when they started at Emmanuel Owusu, for example, when students are registered, especially now most of the registrants are students. When you register, if say you are 21, the BVR will give you 19. If you are 19, it will give you 17. That is the situation we are getting in Central Region. So it has made the work very difficult. And I called Utu Senya East constituency, I called Agona East, I called Ifutu. They are all experiencing similar issues. So I don't know how come the machines or the BVRs will be giving you ages that is 2 years lesser than your age. I don't know what the outcome may be after you have registered. So technically, that is our challenge.
But that has not been resolved yet.
Not yet.
And when you inquired from the Electoral Commission officers, when you inquired from the Electoral Commission officers, what were some of the reasons they gave you?
It's a technical challenge.
Okay.
It's a technical challenge, and they are going to resolve it. But imagine a schoolboy of about 17 years who has moved to the registration center around 8 o'clock to register. And if you look at the time now, it's getting to 4. And for the child to get the opportunity to register, and it turned out that instead of it being 19 years, it's now 17 years. So I don't know what the EC will come out to see how they can resolve this particular issue. For in Central Region generally, the registration is very slow The network is a problem, it's a big challenge.
Okay.
The network will come on for just 1 hour, then it will just go. Then it will come in the next 30 minutes. That's the hitches we are going through, and it's affecting the smooth running of the registration process.
Interesting. All right, grateful to you for joining us with those ones. Let's get a national picture of the situation now. And Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Gand, joins us via Zoom now. We also have the Deputy General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Haruna Mohammed. We're also trying to get responses from the Electoral Commission itself, so we would understand what exactly is happening. But Mustafa, I'm grateful to you for joining us. You have, I'm sure, been monitoring from the national. What have you found so far?
All right, so good afternoon, and good afternoon to my colleague on the other side and our cherished listeners. So basically, I think today is day one. There's so much pressure on all political actors and parties. I want to believe that there's a similar pressure on EC itself in terms of machines functioning, in terms of network issues, in terms of activation codes, etc. We have also identified that there have been, heavy deployment of police officers to various registration centers to forestall disorder and all of that. So it is good that these arrangements have been put in place. There have been delays at some places. Registration haven't started at all. And so we were thinking that because the Electoral Commission have assured the country that it has made arrangements for standby power, these alternatives would have been used in areas where Dumso has been the issue. But it turns out that those generators are not present. And so it's a bit of a worry, but because it's day one, we will look over and see what comes tomorrow. In Buem, for example, we have surprise visitation of immigration officers who are moving within registration centers and harassing, applicants, inspecting their documents to see if they are Ghanaians. The immigration officers are supposed to be at borders and then ensure that people do not enter illegal. Registrants do not enter into the country. How would you go into registration centers and be doing that? In the Bunu region, the regional police commander.
Bandi, on that score, how is it a problem if they are trying to check whether or not foreigners are partaking in this exercise?
Well, it constitutes a surprise and some of apprehension to people who are in the queues to register, because in any case, it's not a usual practice, but we don't have a major problem to that. I'm just saying that it is strange to the arrangements that have been put in place.
Okay.
In the Bunu region, for example, the regional commander goes to a registration center to say that NDC vehicles that are parked at registration centers should be moved. That is not a job of the police. That is not why the IGP put them there. There have been a defined perimeter within which no one is supposed to go there, except if you are a registrant. So this is just day one. I believe there's a similar pressure on my colleagues at the MPP front, except to say that at this point we should come together to allow for smooth registration so that by law, Ghanaians who are qualified to vote can get the opportunity to register. In any case, people are under hardship. We cannot, if we believe that majority of the groups that turns 18 years or new registrants are students, then the Electoral Commission, government should do everything possible so that people will not have to struggle, people will not have to suffer, people will not have to be so frustrated in order to be registered. Because we know the prevailing hardship is also a factor, so that people will not have to leave their work, go to registration centers only to go home without being registered, unless it all plays into the calculated strategy of the MPP to suppress the number of Ghanaians who are eligible to vote, who are eligible to register from doing so, so that the defeat gap will be minimized. I know that is on the table of government and the MPP.
Well,
but we will see how the Electoral Commission's hitches play into that strategy as we go forward.
That's speculations there, Monday. But you mentioned earlier that some places have not had the exercise, starting as we speak. What are some of these places?
There are a lot of them.
Really? In which region?
I'm not holding the data to myself now because I'm doing the Zoom on my phone. I'm sure Haruna is seated in his office.
In which regions do we have centers where they've not begun at all?
There are centers in the Bono regions. There are places in the northern regions where registration haven't started 1 hour or 2 hours ago. There are places in the Bono East where 2 hours ago registration have not started at all. There are even places within the Greater Accra where 2 hours ago only about 6 people were registered. There are places they haven't registered at all. But again, we believe that today is day one, even though some of the challenges would have been mitigated to the barest minimum. We will still assume that we are in the earlier stages. There is pressure on us. There is pressure on the Electoral Commission. We hope to see if by tomorrow all of these hitches and challenges will be restored so that we can have a very smooth, a very peaceful, a very successful exercise for the people of this country.
All right. So let's see how it goes. But what is the party doing to probably offer support to people who want to register now?
Our part is to encourage willing Ghanaians to be able to go and register. Our parliamentary candidates who are key stakeholders, our MPs who are key stakeholders, party executives are all on the grounds to offer guidance as to how individuals will take advantage of the exercise and also register. We are on guard to ensure that we are able to stop the issue of people migrating data from some constituency to another constituency in order to gain political advantage. It's called data maneuvering. And then we are also on guard to prevent registration of foreigners at the various registration centers. So by and large, I think that the party is ready.
Okay.
I assume also that the MPP is ready, except that clearly the Electoral Commission must set up and do its work well so that we get to that standard where we can see that the exercise is smooth.
But for now, it's not smooth for you, as you say.
For now, I also believe that is day one. We'll wait to see if this repeats tomorrow. That's why I earlier indicated that it is in the interest of all of us to ensure that the Electoral Commission does everything possible to ensure that we do not frustrate our own students, we do not frustrate Ghanaians who will have to abandon their businesses, stay so long at registration centers, only to be frustrated by what they describe as technical problems. There's no problem that is technical. They have a technical team that should have worked on their network. They have a technical team that should have ensured that printers are working. There are places where the machines are not working. The components of the machine cannot print cards. All of these things should have been done. The Electoral Commissioner herself assures Ghanaians that she has made arrangements for standby generator at every registration center so that in the places where we do not have light or we have light challenges, that can be an alternative source of power. That arrangement have not been put in place as of today. We wait. Contrary to what the president has said to the people of this country that there is no doomsday has ended, the Electoral Commission is doling out a budget to make provision for alternative power supply. That is what exposes the president we have. But that promise must be made a reality because doomsday is real, energy fluctuation is real, and let us have alternative arrangements to ensure that people do not suffocate in their quest to fulfill their constitutional mandate.
Okay. All right. Bande, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. But just before I let you go, the Ghana Education Service has also given some days for students who are 18 years old to go out and register, about 4 days. What's the reaction of the party to that particular decision by the Ghana Education Service?
Well, I believe that conventionally, both political parties or all stakeholders at registration centers, we understand that students are students, their own children, they are given a priority in terms of when they arrive at registration centers, they go straight to register because they are students. 4 days may not be enough for us to cover all the students throughout the country. But again, when we get there and there are enough students who have not been able to register, we would have that conversation. But until now, we think that is a good initiative, except to say that I am not too sure how these 4 days will satisfy for us to be able to register, or through the Electoral Commission to register all of these students, given the supposed technical challenges that we are recording even on day one of the exercise. I think that it might put all of us out of gear in terms of timing. And so Ghana Education Service may be considering looking at extending the days, given the prevailing technical challenges that we see. The 4 days may not be enough.
Okay, Mande, I'm grateful to you for joining us from wherever you are. So that's the NDC's Deputy General Secretary, Mustafa Gand. This is still The Pulse here on the Joy News channel. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Please don't go away. Welcome back from the break. Now, the National Association of Institutional Suppliers has this afternoon issued a 2 weeks ultimatum to the Ministry of Education to settle their outstanding debts, or they resume picketing the premises of the ministry. The group, which supplies logistics including books, uniforms, PE kits and school clothes to senior high schools across the country, are demanding a 130 million cedis owed them by the government for supplies in 2021 and 2022. They suspended an earlier picketing at the Ministry of Education after an intervention by officials of the ministry who promised to settle all outstanding payment by April 10, 2024. According to the association, all these promises remain unfulfilled, informing their decision to resume their picketing in 2 weeks. Emmanuel Owusu is the spokesperson of the association. He joins us via Zoom now for some interaction. Grateful to you, sir, for joining us. Now, when the last picketing was being called off, how many weeks or which period were you giving within which the ministry was intending to deal with the situation?
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. The ministry promised that they will pay 2021-2022 academic year, then 2022-2023 academic year by the 10th of April. 10th. So that was on Wednesday.
Okay.
We should come to the ministry for further engagement to know the modalities on when the remaining amount to be paid.
Okay. So it means that some parts of
so
the
that's
money.
What the promise they give us.
So some parts of the monies have been given out.
Yes, please. That's true. Some part has been given out.
What is remaining now? Ms. Owusu, I'm trying to find out from you how much of the money is remaining.
Okay, we are actually looking at 130 million Ghana cedis.
Okay.
And the government is claiming that they have released 20.
The government says they released how much?
And the 26 Ghana cedis, we have one. Government in a statement on 15th of April stated that the amount that they've released, the 26 million Ghana cedis, it goes to settle the supply for PE kits, the supply for stationery, and the supply for house dress and school uniform.
Okay.
But I must put on record that for 7 years now, almost 8 years, none of our association members have supplied PE kits and stationery.
Okay.
So it suggests that the money that they are saying, the 26 million, part of the money has been diverted to pay their own people. because the PE kit and the stationery, it is their own people who supplies. And that is one of the key reasons why we also picketed that we want government to send back the procurement processes of the PE kit and the stationery back to schools for headmasters to tender. Because in the inception of USHS, the ministry took these items away from us and they are supplying. So if in their own statement, they are saying that that money seeks to pay these people, then our position is that then it means they have paid their own people, because those who supply these items are still anonymous. About 4 people, anonymous throughout the nation, and it is from the ministry themselves. That is why we are actually not too much happy with this turnout.
So what and what do you supply? If you say you don't supply school uniform, stationery, and what have you, what do you supply?
No. Yes, our core mandate is to supply school uniform, stationery, house dress, PE kits. Like I'm saying, when the free SHS was introduced through the ministry, they took the lot of PE kits and stationery away from us. And now it is done through the ministry level. We don't know the people who are now supplying. So it was our core mandate to be supplying all these things. But the ministry, some way, somehow, without telling us anything, have taken these items from us. And it is one of the things that we've spoken about for 7 years. We've petitioned them severally that they should give back our works to us. Because as a ministry, we don't know why they should be interfering in our works and saying that they want to supply themselves. So in simple terms, we are saying that we are supposed to ordinarily supply the PE kits, the house dress, the stationaries, and all other that you think about. Okay. But the ministry have taken these 2 items, that is the PE kit and the stationery, away from us. And they've given it to some few people among themselves who are supplying. And now, if in a statement, they've come to tell the whole Ghanaian that they've released such an amount to settle us, of which they know very well that the PE kit and the stationery, it is their own people who are doing it. And it means that money has gone to settle them.
Okay. Now, since this statement came out, I'm sure you've been trying to find out from the ministry why 130 million of your money has not been paid. What have they been telling you?
Yes, the ministry asked us to meet them a week after we picketed. So we went there to meet him, the minister himself. And the sad thing about it was that the minister was not ready to engage us. He told us that because we have picketed him, he has no other issues to discuss with us.
Really?
Yes. And we suspended the picketing because aside the promise of payment, there were other 3 issues that we were talking about. And one of them is the PE kit issue that I just mentioned. And the other was the contract they were taking away from us and giving to their own people. All those things were things that we spoke about. So when we went there, the minister told us that his priority is to pay us. And after paying us, he has nothing to do with us. And he has no meeting. He is not in the position to hold any meeting with us. And we are not welcome at his office.
Hey.
That is what he told us. And even the promise of payment, as we speak, the 2021-2022 academic year, that is those in final year, as they themselves promised, they've not fulfilled that. We have a lot of members who are still being owed in 2021-2022 academic year.
I mean, were you there in this meeting, or this is a reporter speech? The minister told you that his mandate is to pay you and not to have a meeting with you.
I was there. I was present there. And the minister said it, that his priority is to pay us and not to have any meeting with us. Even with the payment, he has, per his own promise, he has actually failed. And he told us that we have crossed the line for picketing him. We don't know of any line at the ministry that he himself has drawn. in whatever case, if there should be anyone crossing the line, it means he himself has crossed his own line.
Okay.
Because we don't know of any line that is being drawn, and that is what he told us. He wouldn't let us talk. He said we have picketed him and we've dented his image, and nobody has picketed him before, and because of that, he has nothing to do with us, and we are not welcome at his office. That is what he told us. And even with the payment, as I speak with you, the final years that they promised, they have not fulfilled that promise. Now, another issue that is happening is that members are complaining of missing invoices at the ministry. You know, a Ministry of Education is supposed to be a ministry of record. We shouldn't be talking about missing invoices at this time when members are demanding for their money. You go there, they tell you that your invoice is missing. Go back to your school, the master, and take another invoice and bring it. And this thing, you are going to start the process all over again, which is not fair.
Okay.
We've also noticed what we term as selective payment. Selective payments meaning you are owing somebody since 2021, 2022, then 2022, 2023. You've not finished with the 2021 payment. You've jumped to 2022. And I think that is an attempt to make it difficult for us to track the payment. Now, even in 2022 that they said they are paying some, we were grouped into 4 batches. They've paid some batch, they've skipped the batch 3, then they've jumped to batch 4 and they are paying, just to confuse us, which is not fair. So, per the minister's own promise or the ministry's own promise, they've not fulfilled their promise. And because of that, we have no option. We are going to picket them.
Okay.
Because they are owing us and they should pay us. And those other issues that we talked about that the minister told us, that I was there present, that he doesn't want to have any meeting to do with us. And in fact, he doesn't want to even see us at his office again. And his priority is to pay us. The office is a public office.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, and we're entitled to be there.
So have you been supplying, for 2023-2024 academic year, have you been doing any supplies?
Yes, those few members who have paid, some have started because some have some of the materials there, and it is customized for schools. And certainly they cannot use it for anything.
Okay.
So they should still supply. So some of them are supplying, especially the few people who have gotten their money, they are supplying.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So when you picket, what would take you out of the ministry?
Nothing will take us out until they pay us all. And we are asking them to hear us on other 3 petitions that we've sent. Okay. Minister have taken a position that he doesn't want to have anything to do with us. And we think that it's not fair. Those who are holding public office should do their work. Let businesses also do their work. Okay. Let us do our work. Let us be entitled to engage you. Let us come. If you have any problem, let us come and talk with you. But you don't tell us that you don't have anything to do with us. And because they are doing that, because most of the contract is being taken away from us. You recall recently we issued a statement again, resisting strongly that this issue that on 26th of April, the ministry, issued a statement that they want to brand public basic schools.
Yeah.
And per your own experience, media men and women, you asked some relevant questions, and now they are saying that they are doing it for some few more those selected schools.
Newly built ones, they say. Well, Mr. Ivo speaks for the suppliers who supply to the senior high schools. They are demanding that government pays them a debt of 130 million cedis. Else, they will picket the Ministry of Education. And he's been explaining. So Ivo is back on the... so Ivo, you're making a point about the painting of schools. And I was helping you to say that they've clarified that they are going to paint newly built schools. Ivo, you're back. You're making a point when the line went back.
Sorry. So we are saying that anytime there is an issue of rebranding, an issue of giving facelift, then we are losing our job in midst of that.
Okay.
TVET schools is being rebranded. And as I speak to you, you'll be there as a headmaster, then they will call you that your school uniform is ready. Come for it at the regional level. Through that, some of our members have lost their jobs because the ministry have engaged some individuals who are now doing the work. So we still oppose that one. We said we don't support that one. You are owing us, you've not paid us, and we are using the money to go and rebrand, paint schools, school building, branding uniforms, of which the uniform that final year students are owing, you've not paid majority of them. Again, because they are owing us and we are going through difficulties, some members are losing capitals, jobs are collapsing, workers are leaving us. Government at our behind have engaged an IT expert company to supply the uniform that we couldn't supply because they themselves are owing us.
Oh, okay.
And that, yes, and that is radical.
An IT company.
An IT company, they supply hardwares.
Okay, and they want the IT company to supply uniforms.
Yes.
To how many schools?
I've cited about 200 schools.
Wow.
I've cited about 200 schools, and this is unfair. We released a statement last week to this, and we are asking the Honorable Minister to reconsider his decision. As I speak, a circular has gone to the headmasters that the current Form 1s, we shouldn't supply them with.
Ayivo's line is has gone blind again, but Ayivo speaks. Okay, yeah, Ayivo, you're making a point when your line dropped. You said yes. they've sent a memo to the headmasters that something.
Yes, they shouldn't attend for house dress for the day students. So it means those in day first years, the day student, they are not going to be given house dresses. You know what? There is a rumor that we've heard that the ministry have contacted some few people to design house dress that will be circulated across the country. It's a rumor that we are hearing. And because we have actually cited the letter that the minister has instructed, the ministry has instructed that we shouldn't supply them with house dresses, we are tempted to believe that it is true.
Okay.
Because anytime we lose our job, we lose it based on rumor. We hear it,
and then
we try to engage, and it happens.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll look forward to this picketing of yours. In the next 2 weeks. You've given government 2 weeks, right?
Sure.
Okay. All right. We'll keep an eye on that one. Thank you so much, Ayivo, for speaking to us. Ayivo is he speaks for the suppliers who are demanding the government pays them debt they owe to them as suppliers. Now to the filth exhibition and to the 2-hour downpour on Monday morning once again exposed how the country's capital has been engulfed with filth. Rejoice Semefakwesu takes us to the Kwame Nkrumah Circle and Asylum Down, a suburb of Accra, for our filth exhibition series.
The heavens opened up, bringing forth nature's blessings upon the metropolis, cleansing the air and most importantly reducing the heat. But amidst the raindrops was an unsettling scene. Mud, polythene bags, plastics, and food leftovers, exposing how filthy the country's capital is.
Normally, this is what we go through when it rains. You really find it difficult to even go to work.
Foster, who lives in Asylum Down, narrates the real challenge he was confronted with having had to move around the neighborhood.
This morning, whilst I was going to work, I have to use the other side of the road because this place was flooded. I mean, even the cars, they were not able to use this lane that you see them using now. They were all using the overhead. There's a gutter just behind this building. and that's where the flood comes from, and that's where all this rubbish are coming from. So normally it is the rubbish that gather here that makes the water not to flow. So what we are asking of is the environmental protection people to come and make sure all the gutters are clean and are free so that the water can pass through it whenever it rains.
Gazi wasn't shocked. He said this mess was the least expected.
Beside from where you stand with me here, Fold, up to Accra stand there, over here the coast too, the same thing. It download whenever the water value on the compound in the area, and the area is somewhere the coast water cannot pass. It always divert from both our yard here and dilute from the street both to the center zone here. It always flow somewhere the coast at Taneshi Street here. When it flow and come to this center, it will flow enter here, because this is the consumption road to Aveno. All the coast here is the same as you met here.
But in the moment of reckoning lies an opportunity for transformation, a chance to rebuild not just the physical infrastructure, but the collective spirit of a city striving to claim the title of cleanliness and sustainability in Africa. Sema Fakbesu's report read to you.
Also, Accra's resilience against floods has severely diminished. That according to the Ghana Meteorological Agency, GMET. Now, the capital may not be able to endure flash floods should it occur due to indiscriminate buildings sitting on waterways and choked storm drains. One person was left in critical condition, 8 vehicles smashed with many billboards tumbling following the downpour that lasted for a couple of hours. Well, forecasters believe the worst could happen due to unchecked urban development should the rains continue like it fell yesterday. So how are we prepared as a country for the rainy season? We will be joined in the studio by the Director of Communications for the National Disaster Management Organization, George AC. He'll be joining us actually via Zoom. But first, George News went around the city after the rains to observe the aftermath. Watch this.
In Tesano, the aftermath of the downpour saw flood water inundate the area from the police training school to Peace FM, though there's a glimmer of hope as the waters slowly recede. Meanwhile, the towering billboard at the entrance of the police training school has collapsed. In Awoshi, near Victory Bible Church, the scene is no less daunting as high-tension electric cables fall off, causing heavy traffic. Adding to the chaos, the once sturdy banners mounted on buildings at Circle Tiptoe Lane collapsed under the relentless assault of wind and rain.
We were inside the shop. We were in the shop when it was raining because we just finished with our morning devotion. We were having a little meeting. All we could hear was boom, the blood just came down from the top. So after checking, we realized it was the signpost from the building. Yeah, so the whole thing just came down.
I was here, I just parked and it started raining with thunder and then the whirlwind. But just for a second, I heard that something was coming up from the top. So I quickly parked at the side of the entrance. And later on, my son called me on the phone that I should leave there because the building is collapsing. Not knowing this weekend, Techno company, they mounted a signboard at the top of the roof. And you could see the size of the distance. So I think the air could not penetrate. So it forced to fall down. And we're fortunate that, in fact, by morning at this time, there could be a lot of people standing here. But we thank God that we couldn't have any casualty.
Me dwane bi ngate no me bie gate na ye ena me die me kana fan sei me fan sei me dan me wona mu se asa tie gu bia me ton drink no ena me ye fa hye ekwohye shop no so me wura ho na mu se asa tie eso na asa tie gu biem nti tie gu na light off nti wo se store na sheki ena ye ha se be dwane nti enemu nsuo ni edwa ne ko side sei
mo fi on na ya ti se ye door no main door no akabu na eyedede nti mi ka che mi bra se mba be hwe se de na eba no sa na door no ye de mi paper na mo se adun ya dua gu fom nti mi ko ka che mi bra se adina me hu no so mbra no be hu nti e ba na be hu se ba na no mo aye osoro no ni nya gu fom nti anu na ebubu ku ofo no omu ye ba na bi wo nti frama no e pushi banana the ma blocks waiting nya ko block nti ma blocks nya fisho no be nya ba form.
With more rains expected in the coming days, residents appeal to the government to implement measures to mitigate the challenges and dangers posed by the weather.
Well, so with what we expect, question is, how are we prepared as a country to deal with the aftermath of the rains when they set in? We're joined on the phone by George AEC. He is Director of Communications for the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO. George, grateful for joining us. I mean, how well prepared are we for the rains?
Yeah, thank you, Kojo. We are prepared. NADMO has always been prepared on standby in terms of our logistics, our men, to respond to emergency issues. And the key one, too, is about relief. And so for now, we have some stocks. So, yes, we are ready for the rains.
You see, we just had, sort of a test exercise yesterday. And it seemed to suggest that we may probably be found wanting if the rain set in and we are going to have storms as the GMET is predicting. So really, if you say you are prepared, how prepared is NADMO really?
Yeah, yesterday was a test case. Our men went out there, and the fire service was also at another point. When it comes to issues of emergency response, we have teams that can quickly respond to it, our search and rescue team and operations team. And so when we get the emergency call and we deploy the teams, they go to do the work. There was some trees that are falling at the tree blow area, 13 area there. So a team was there, and then the Italian embassy the fire service and other people were there. And that's how we work. They are our partners. NADMO, Fire Service, 48 engineers, Ghana Army, Air Force, all of them are on standby. Once we put a call through that we need their support or assistance, they will deploy a team to come and support.
Well, so your mission as an organization is to manage disasters by coordinating the resources of government institutions and non-government agencies.
Yes.
So yours is not about prevention?
Oh, prevention is part.
Okay.
Prevention is, we have a key role in prevention. Our motto is prevention pays.
Okay,
and
good.
so public engagement and education is part of our work that we do. And it's part of these prevention measures that we have what we call safe havens. We've identified places that are on higher grounds that can be accessed by individuals within a catchment area who are in flood-prone areas to assess for their safety. And when the rains are over, they can go back to their homes to continue their lives. So, yes, the identification of safe havens starts with that. And how to access those places is often known to people within specific communities.
Okay. If that's the case, then one thing that the rains of yesterday taught us is the dangerous placed billboards scattered all across the capital. And not just the capital, but other places in the country as well. What is the NADMO doing about those things to ensure that they do not pose the sort of danger we saw them pose yesterday?
Well, that one, I understand the Ghana Highway and the district assemblies are directly responsible for those billboards and co. But we can advise that monitoring of those billboards should be something that should be up on the priority list of the agencies responsible. We can also speak to the fact that there could be the possibility of pruning of some of them and the ones that are not too, let's say, can be cut down, that would be okay. But we can only advise because there are agencies that are directly responsible for the management of those ones.
If you can advise, have you given that advice? Because what we saw yesterday portends what could happen if the rain set in.
Yeah, I cannot say directly that we've written to those agencies, but, you know, we all have our responsibilities. So it's on your listening that I'm saying we can only advise that they take up their responsibilities. It's not directly within the domain of NADMO. However, there are effects or consequences when there is this storm and they fall and cause damage and then falls within our remit. So we need to be engaging them on that. Going forward, we're definitely going to be doing that.
Last year, we communicated safe havens. Have we done the same this year? Do people know where they should run to in case there's flooding?
Oh, yes. I told you we've spread the areas within the catchment areas. For instance, the Sahara area in the Babraka. There's a bigger Catholic church around that place, which has been willingly given for that purpose. The Clotikoli area, the Independence Square, there are other schools. We've made this infographics and we've spread it within those communities. So, yes, people know where to assess within the catchment areas.
All right. I'm grateful to you, George, for joining us here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, to other stories now. The Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association of Ghana, Gabriel Kumi, is worried the consumption of liquefied petroleum gas in Ghana is on a downward spiral and is already having a toll on employment in the sector. He is attributing the decline in consumption to the skyrocketing prices, which have come about as a result of the imposition of more taxes on the product. Gabriel Kumi says the situation is not only putting a strain on the budget of ordinary consumers, but also pushing many LPG marketing companies to the brink of collapse.
Currently, the major issue, challenge facing the LPG downstream is the fact that consumption of LPG has taken a nosedive. We peaked in 2020-2021. After that, indeed, in 2022, we went down by over 12%, and we further went down in 2023. So the LPG consumption in Ghana is on a serious decline, and it's as a result of the fact that the price of the product has risen so high that the ordinary consumer is no longer able to afford. The height of the price, I mean the pump price going high is also as a result of the fact that a lot of taxes has been heaped onto the product. This is really putting the LPG industry in danger. Most of the LPG marketing companies and the LPG retail outlets are on the verge of collapse. If you go to the northern part of our country, most of the LPG outlets that used to be very vibrant are now collapsing. Some of them have indeed collapsed, and these are all as a result of the fact that they are not getting patronage. People are not buying the product. People are switching to firewood and to charcoal. I'm sure you can experience the heat, unprecedented heat that you are experiencing in the country at the moment. This is as a result of the fact that we have cut all the wood. Galamsey has taken half of the forest. The other half that we should save is being depleted because Ghanaians are not able to buy LPG and they are turning to firewood and charcoal. Currently, most of our members have started laying off workers. We are calling on government to consider removing all taxes on LPG. And indeed, what has even aggravated the situation is the fact that about a month ago, MPA has introduced another levy on LPG. That levy is $80 on a ton of LPG. And that really shot up the pump price of LPG from 14 cedis per kilo to about 16 cedis currently. And we have kicked strongly against that. We have sent very strong letters to MPA and to anybody that matters, that if we really, really, really care about this country, if we really, really, really care about increasing consumption of LPG in Ghana, then we should first immediately remove that $80 per ton that MPA have put on it, and government should take measures to remove all the taxes on LPG.
So Gabriel Kumi is the Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association of Ghana. Now, there's a critical phase in global discussions in recent times regarding the future governance of the digital world. Here in Ghana, hundreds of institutions and individuals are leveraging on the power of the internet. A second global multi-stakeholder meeting on the future of the internet governance, building upon the meeting held in Brazil in 2014, has been held. There's now a strong push to build a strong coalition of partners across the globe with a common goal of developing concrete proposals for the further evolution and implementation of the multi-stakeholder approach for an accountable, diverse, and inclusive governance of the digital world. To join me in studio to have a conversation on this is the Executive Director of Child Online Africa, Awo Aidam Amenya. We've already started having our conversation already. Now, you want to focus on children. Why is it relevant for us to check what sort of information we pass on to kids?
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity. The focus on children is key because hitherto, when the internet deployment and everything started, very little focus was given to them as stakeholders. But from our interaction with young people, they form a critical mass of consumers, a third of the world's consumers in the space. So clearly, they needed to be consulted. However, that consultation could not be based on, could not be held in a vacuum. It should be based on facts. It should be based on information. And this information to young people also requires some level of effort to be put in by adults. Because clearly when we speak big jargons up there, it's not all of them that understand. So how do we break down that discourse to the level of young people in order to solicit their input into discussions or global, more like general discussion for effect? So it's the reason why. And personally, if you ask me, geography, math, English language, and what have you, have all been transmitted through the digital platform.
Okay.
So it's important that the information children receive, especially from the digital platforms, are reliable.
Okay.
And appropriate.
Okay.
Yes. Other than that, we're going to be feeding them with concussions.
But how do we check that? Do the kids have access to mobile phones? How do we check that, in fact, all the information they are getting through that means is accurate and something that is meant for them?
Yes. So for me, the best check for that is media literacy and critical thinking.
Okay.
I personally do not subscribe to the concept of fact-checking. Why? If you ask children to go onto a website to fact-check an information or rely on Meta to get factual information, you are limiting their creativity. And it's more like you are even introducing them to just the ideology of Meta or whichever social media platform you are using as fact-checking platform to solicit for information. So for me, clearly, media literacy, where children receive information, they are able to digest it, analyze it by themselves, and come up with their own perspectives is the way to go. That also enables their critical thinking abilities.
Okay.
In the world now, if I tell you with the work we are doing or the work I do, I have realized that we have just two types of information if we don't allow children to decipher their own information. Those two types of information is either somebody's opinion or ideologies or somebody's agenda.
That's why you don't like fact-checking? Yes. But fact-checking is
it's
to
not
really
like
bring...
I don't like fact-checking because of that. However, I just said that fact-checking limits the creativity of young people. Because if you give an information, for instance, to a group of young people, the understanding may vary. However, it points to the same outcome at the end of the day. So clearly, if we want to allow young people to evolve, we want to allow young people to unearth their creativity, it's important for us to allow them to think critically about something, bring the information down to the level at which they could understand it. That's why terms and conditions, we fought for it to be made child-friendly and short. Hitherto, it was so scanty that you and I even find it difficult to read when we are signing on to a platform. But now it's a bit eligible. You could read and understand what it is. And now we can even tell, okay, this is the information which is being gathered from me when I'm signing up on a particular platform. So clearly, at the end of the day, it's a win-win for us. Platform owners, consumers are all a par at the end of the day. And that's how it's supposed to be when it comes to internet governance.
When parents are now critical as to what our children consume, and we are saying that we have to allow the kids to really make do with what they can with the information available, how do we just oppose that? A parent trying to safeguard what my kid sees on the internet and also trying to develop his mindset, and so I say, okay, have access to it. How do we do it? How do we balance the two?
You know that as a parent, you're looking at things from the best interest of the child.
Exactly.
So clearly, that cannot be an infringement. It is only when he contravenes that rule, then it becomes an infringement.
Okay.
So information, I'm not talking about inappropriate information,
but
we're talking about right information, legit information. So we want to have that discourse with children. We want to allow them to unearth their creativity. Often it's even not parents who even hinder these children from expressing their views. It's been us, maybe civil society or a group of people somewhere who have the privilege of dealing with young people, and then they put them together and impose their views on them. They say, oh, when they ask you, they say this. When you go there, or when they ask you that, say this.
Okay.
It shouldn't be the case. Rather, we downgrade the information to their level. Even if it should be in, I work with children a lot, so sometimes I even need to allow them express themselves through the arts. Because some of them cannot express themselves well enough, but they could express themselves in drawing. So you allow them to express themselves that way, and then you pick the information.
So even their homework, we don't need to do it for them.
Yes.
We have to allow them.
You have to assist them in doing it, not do it for them.
All right. But in the discussion around the Net Mondial Plus 10,
yes,
the focus was too much on reliable information around climate change. Why was that the case?
Yes, that was it because from the research that was done, it's been realized that a lot of misinformation has gone very far with climate change. So in the course of that discussion, bearing in mind that there are a host of stakeholders there, they felt it's very important for us now to resituate that discussion in such a way that we get the facts across rather than the misinformation or disinformation which has gone far. So it would interest you to know that most of the countries that participated in Net Mondial Plus 10 are now going back to relook at some of the information that was passed on, and will try to seek how to redress the mis and disinformation parts and put people on the right course. And maybe also try to direct people to the right source of information. Yes.
Okay, interesting. What's Ghana's situation? What's the situation in this country?
If you ask me, I would say that it leaves much to be desired for us. If we cannot focus on media literacy and critical thinking. I was in a stakeholder discussion the other day, and I raised the concern that it looks like we throw words about. So you said digital literacy, and then banks are undertaking digital literacy, schools are undertaking digital literacy, and non-formal education is also doing digital literacy. You ask yourself, what is digital literacy? But when you look at the constituents of such discourse, you could see that one could be digital readiness rather than digital literacy, because that's what they need. Now, using internet or
what's the difference? What's the difference? Then maybe we can move on.
How to use a mobile phone, how to send an email and all of that. That's digital literacy.
Okay.
Now, if I'm going to introduce a group of consumers, traders, to a particular literacy, for them to be able to make input into their savings and all of that, that is more like digital readiness than literacy.
Okay.
So you are preparing them. So that readiness entails a bit of cyber security and a bit of literacy.
Okay. Okay.
So when we situate conversation well enough, we use the right lexicons for it, we'll be achieving that goal. And for me, which is why I said there's a lot to be done as far as our country is concerned, because we haven't been able to put things in their right perspective. And until we do that, we'll just be throwing words about and confusing one another here and there. So I would say that there's a need for us to put more into media literacy and critical thinking for children, because they are the future of this country. So at the educational level, even geography will depend on media literacy. Science will depend on media literacy. English language will depend on media. So that is what we have to be doing.
Okay. So, I mean, it comes to the responsibility of people then. What's the responsibility of stakeholders in this?
Stakeholders are to provide resources. Stakeholders are to provide enabling environments for this to happen. Stakeholders are to build capacity, because the constituents we're talking about, you know, they are not working. They are there, but we need to provide for them.
Yeah.
And those same constituents will have to be protected at the end of the day. So we are giving them information, but the information have to be safeguarded, or there should be guardrails for that information. Then we also need to ensure that they are understanding the information, because you can put something there assuming that it's making sense, but it's not making sense to them. So getting their feedback is key. And in all of this, parents have a place a role to play. Government has a role to play. Government, which includes educational institutions and all of that. Civil society has a role to play. Even you media, you have a role to play. Yes, you need to give us airtime. Let's put information out there and let children know that this is what is right and this is the accurate information you need to have.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's all of us at the end of the day, even the children themselves, because they need to be responsible at the end of the day when they are engaging.
So if I'm watching the show now and I'm a parent, what do? I pick up the phone and probably go and look for information and say, what can you do with this, or where do we begin?
So when you're a parent watching me now, you could visit our website, childonline.org, toolkit. There is targeted information. There are a lot of resources that parents can rely on. You can even walk to your service provider. Maybe you are a subscriber to any of the mobile network, and then ask them for information with regards to whatever you are confronted with. They will give you accurate and up-to-date information. You can even get to Cybersecurity Authority website and also get information there which will be accurate and reliable. And all these are also on the other social platforms like the Facebook and Meta, Facebook and Twitter, X now.
X now, right. Let's see how it goes. So your website, you said it's Child Online?
Africa.org.
Africa.org, okay.
Yes.
All
and
right.
when you go under resources, you find a host of. And we have a WhatsApp channel, which we share updates on as well, which is 057 1 00 0001.
Okay. I mean, I've just gone to the childonlineafrica.org,
So
and I'm sure when I go there, I can get a lot of things.
I host a lot of,
so, well,
even training courses that you could take.
Okay, so parents can go there and then be equipped for the future.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I'm grateful to you for joining.
Thank you too for having me.
All right, so let's see how that goes. But just before we conclude, Nananom of the Gomoa Fete School have condemned the shooting incident that led to the death of Lance Corporal Michael Danso at the Kaswa Millennium City over a land dispute. Addressing a press conference on Tuesday, Trafohen of Gomoa Asin Traditional Council, who doubles as the chief of Gomoa Fete, Nana Abor Atta, condemned the shooting incident.
Of Gomoa Fete School land. Here we wish to take this opportunity to talk about the unfortunate incident which happened at the Millennium City area, which fall within Gomoa Fete School land. You may have heard that there was a shooting incident on Tuesday, 30th April 2024, around the Millennium City police station. It has come to our attention that such a regrettable incident, which led to the death of Lance Corporal Michael Danso, occurred as a result of individual land dispute between a member of soldiers and a civilian. The alleged perpetrator, Nana Berima Abebio, known in private life as Ben Lord Abebio, happens to be the Jasihin of Gomoa Bantama Millennium City, suburb of Gomoa Fete, and a surveyor to the Gomoa Fete School land. At this stage, we wish to once again express our deepest regret about the unfortunate incident. We hereby condemn such incident. Also, we wish to extend our heartfelt condolence to the Ghana Armed Forces and the bereaved family who have lost their loved one as a result of the unfortunate incident. We wish at this juncture to express our profound gratitude to you, ladies and gentlemen of the press, for honoring our invitation. Thank you.
So that's a member of the Gomoa Fete Traditional Council talking about what happened at the Gomoa, at the Millennium City. He's the chief, Nana Abor Atta, the chief of Gomoa Fete. Well, on that note, we say thank you for being a part of us. There's more on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. On behalf of the team, thank you so much for being a part of us. Good afternoon.